Okay, so let's just jump right into this, because I know what you're thinking. The idea of living off dividends with just 25 bucks a week. It sounds a little nuts, right? Almost too good to be true. But we're going to break down a plan that could actually turn that tiny weekly habit into a serious, life-changing passive income. We'll unpack the math, and you'll see the steps are way simpler than you might imagine.
It all starts with a really simple trade-off. Just picture it for a second. You skip one Friday night pizza. That's it. That one small decision, that one meal you decide, you know what, not this week.
That frees up about $25. We're not talking about some huge, life-altering sacrifice here. That's an amount most of us spend without even thinking about it. But what if we did give it a second thought? What if we put that exact amount to work, week in and week out?
Well, that's where the magic starts. That consistent, small action. It has the potential to just snowball into something massive. It can grow on its own, week after week, year after year, until it becomes the steady, reliable stream of cash that works for you literally 24/7. An income stream that could, eventually, be big enough to cover everything.
And this is the goal. $4,000 a month. Yeah, you heard that right. That pizza money, consistently put to work, can build a portfolio that pays you enough to cover your rent, your car, your bills, the whole shebang. It sounds impossible, I know. So let's break down exactly how the math makes it very, very possible.
All right, let's get into the numbers. This isn't some kind of financial wizardry. It's just simple math. We're going to walk through it step by step so you can see exactly how this pocket change can realistically build a serious portfolio over time. So, first things first, to get that $4,000 a month in dividends, how big does our investment pot actually need to be? What's that magic number we're even shooting for?
The math here is actually pretty straightforward. 4,000 bucks a month is 48,000 a year. Simple enough. Now, if we aim for a portfolio that generates a solid 8% annual dividend yield, and we'll talk about how to do that, well, that means we need a final pot of $600,000.
Okay, I know. $600,000. That is a massive, intimidating number. And before you think, nope, this isn't possible for me, just hang on. It is so much more achievable than you think, because we're going to use a force so powerful it does most of the heavy lifting for us.
And this right here is the engine of the entire plan, compounding. It's that beautiful concept where your investments earn money, and then those earnings start generating their own earnings. It's like a tiny snowball rolling down a very, very long hill. And over time, that is what makes that $600,000 target completely reachable.
Okay, so we know the goal and we know the engine that's going to get us there. So let's get practical. How do we actually build this thing? Here's the simple 4-step blueprint to put this entire system on complete autopilot.
Step 1, open a free online brokerage account. That's your home base. Step 2, and this is absolutely critical, automate a $25 weekly transfer, set it and forget it. You'll never miss money you never see. Step 3, pick your investments. We'll get to that in just a sec. And finally, step 4, turn on dividend reinvestment, usually just called DRIP. It's just a little toggle, but it automatically puts all your earnings back to work, putting your compounding on cruise control.
So what do we actually buy with that $25 a week? Look, the key here is not to get stressed out trying to pick the next hot stock. Instead, we're going to use a simple, balanced recipe that's designed for both long-term growth and steady income. The strategy is a simple 60-40 mix. 60% of your money goes into what are called dividend growth funds. Think of these as the reliable workhorses. They steadily increase their payouts over time, which helps protect you from inflation. The other 40% goes into high-yield funds like covered call ETFs. These are the cash flow machines, designed specifically to generate higher-than-average income. Together, it's the perfect blend of stability and cash flow to get us toward that 8% target. So, that $25 a week plan, it totally works. But you know, what if you're a little impatient? What if you want to get to that $4,000 a month goal even faster? Well, there are some really simple ways to supercharge this whole process and shave years off your timeline.
So let's look at two people. We'll call them Abby and Ben. Abby sticks to the plan perfectly, 25 bucks a week, and she gives herself a small 3% raise on her contribution each year. Ben does the same thing, but he manages to find an extra $10 a week, and he invests his $500 tax refund every year. I mean, it doesn't sound like that big of a difference, does it? So let's follow Abby's journey. By year 8, she's already crossed $20,000. Not bad. By year 15, $70,000. Now the snowball's really picking up speed. By year 23, she's at $250,000. And finally, in year 28, she hits her $600,000 goal. Awesome!
But what about Ben? This is the crucial part. Those tiny little boosts, the extra $10 a week, and that one annual lump sum, they have a massive impact. Ben hits the exact same $600,000 goal a full 4 years earlier than Abby. It just goes to show you, small, consistent efforts can totally change the game.
Okay, so the mechanics are simple. The steps are simple. But honestly, the hardest part of a plan like this is just executing it for decades. And that means you have to protect your plan from your own worst enemies, fear and impatience. Here are the 3 non-negotiable rules for the winning mindset. First, before you start, build a small emergency fund. That way, a flat tire doesn't derail your entire future. Second, you have to learn to ignore the daily noise. You don't care what the market did today, you only care about how many shares you own. And third, and this is the big one, you have to accept that progress feels painfully slow at first. The real power here is unleashed over decades, not days.
And this is what it's all for. The ultimate goal is this incredible moment we call the flip. That's the day you turn off dividend reinvestment and instead you just direct that $48,000 a year straight into your checking account. It is the moment your investments literally start paying you a salary.
When you really boil it all down, this whole grand plan is just 3 simple things. It's one small, consistent sacrifice, that one skipped pizza. It's a few clicks on an app to set the whole thing on autopilot. And then, the most important ingredient of all, just relentless, unwavering patience.
Your future self is already thinking about that freedom, that security. They can almost taste it. So the only question left is, will you make the choice today to start sending those savings ahead to work for them?